Bruno. This is my show at the Kiehle Gallery, St. Cloud State, the Recollection. Here's where we start. I had a big pile of my, I would say, a collection of my bestsellers. I wanted to include my cards because, you know, I feel like all of this stuff is art, you know, not just the fine art. This is designy, creative insanity that I'm really proud of. So a lot of these are linoleum blocks and my own twisted brain stuff. And I think I've got a whole, I think that I got a Bruno Press look these days, you know, and my cards have done me right, you know? So check that out. Huh?
Could you talk a little bit about how you decide what to put on your cards?
Well, I'll tell you, my niche, my demographic, is me, you know? Like my litmus test is, do I find it freaking hilarious? If so, proceed. So, a lot of this stuff is stuff I think is funny or ridiculous or awesome. Some of them are inspired by friends of mine, other funny people. Some are sweet and some are boozy, and some are salty. You know, nothing's really bad. Everybody thinks my cards are bad. I mean, just because they say fuck, that doesn't mean they're bad, you know? But yeah, I mean, this one gets a lot of laughs. This one's super popular. It's good stuff. All right, so this little series are my broadsides from the End of Times Exchange 1, 2, and 3. This was a exchange that I have been organizing and curating since 2011. So there's three different portfolios that came out of it, and they were all about rallying cool printers around the world, really, to produce an edition of prints that had to do with the end of the world. In fact, I should be doing one right now, but you know, whatever. And these shows were great. They traveled all over the world. In fact, the End of Times 3 is going up in Argentina as we speak from my buddy Ro, which is really exciting. These are my favorite. I think I'm gonna revisit those because they're really cool, networking and like bringing all the people together kind of stuff. Those are cool. So the next handful of prints are my reduction block prints, and if you don't know what that is, you have to tune in for a lot of my process videos. But basically, these prints are limited edition suicide block prints. These two major ginormous pieces are hand inked and brayered on a little kind of jimmy rigged thing I have put together to be able to do it by hand, because I don't have presses that are big enough for those. That's why they're like super expensive. But the rest of these I print on my Vandercook. The owl was like 8 color reduction. And they're just where you print from the same block, starting with the lightest color to the darkest. And you print, carve, print, carve, print, carve, print, carve until they're done. And then you got a sweet little edition of prints. These guys are my little minis, which are super cute. They're all symbols of abundance, happiness, and luck. Okay, so these are my collection of calendars that I've done with my buddy Andy Common. We started these back in 2011, I think, or 2010. We skipped a year, but next year, the 2021 calendar will be our 10th edition, quite possibly the final edition. So I'm still trying to figure out what that one's going to be. But these are all, I carve all the lino blocks, and Andy letterpress prints the entire calendar. We do limited edition. They've been pretty awesome. Pretty stoked about them. These two are my most recent super incredible reduction blocks. This is the Warbler And over here is the Blue Jay. Both probably my most incredible examples of my reduction blocks. Both photos from my buddy Ryan Unger. Found some new tools. I've really been dialing in the colors and the trees and some of the hand inking stuff on them. They're pretty sweet. I like those. So my buddy Bruce talked me into including a bunch of my lino blocks, which is key. I think that there's a little bit of a disconnect with people understanding how a lot of this imagery is made. Well, it is carved into a lino block, and that's my jam, you know, like, I think there's something kind of even more, like another way to connect to this art by seeing exactly how it's done like that. And these are some of my favorite blocks, big and small, all kinds of detail. Some are for one-off projects, and some I use over and over again. And then some of them are for my reduction blocks where they're spent, they can't really be used again. But yeah, you can maybe recognize them in some of the prints and posters. This is a video of me in the shop running the windmill that my buddy Martinez did. There's my niece Sam, who put a lot of time in at Bruno Press and continues to. Work in the Chandler and Price, print all my cards on that press, and then like showing how we set type, and I think I'm carving here. Try not to bludgeon myself. There's some big wood type, all kinds of insanity in the shop. The shop's pretty cool. It's worth a visit. Sam is reprinting cards, and I'm printing some posters, just some promo posters that say grinding gears and drinking beers. Mixing some ink. Inking up the Vandercook proof press, which is where I print all my art prints and posters. That's my baby. All my friends' posters make it on the ceiling. And then I have a pop machine stocked with beer. Then Bruce's other cool idea was to have like a complete hodgepodge of a crap ton of the stuff I've been working on over the last 10 years. And they're all across the board, you know, so I have, this is one of my original kick-ass prints that I love. That's a reduction printer die on this guy. It's printed with blood because he's dead and he's got a broken heart. Hilarious. I've done all kinds of them. This was, some of them are custom jobs that people, you know, hire me to do. And some are just like, this was for Pride Month. Some of my interns helped me with that. Collaboration with my buddy Amos on this. He printed these kick-ass backgrounds, and then I printed the saying on top with that big ship block you saw. Just did these, designed these with my interns. This was for the poster hunt, which you should all be checking out. That's pretty amazing. My buddy Draplin. This was one of my favorites. This was for a poster for the Hamilton Wood Type and Printing Museum, their 20th anniversary, that my buddy Jen invited me to take part of. That's my interns are my printers devils. So that was my buddy Chandler. Helped me design that. This was for Mikey Shines, local musical hero. This one was a cool reduction for AdFed. Was it AdFed or was it AAF? I don't know. That one like people's favorite, people's choice, I think. Done some Millstream posters. There's a bunch of those. That's my hometown art festival that I've been doing posters for about 6 years. This is a sweet guy for the bed and breakfast in St. Joe, the Estates. It's a lot of detail, man. These are just some cool backgrounds that I've done by cleaning the presses and, you know, doing some non-OSHA approved action to get these super cool backgrounds, and then just, you know, doing some typography work with some big wood type and some really cool quotes. Those are fun to do at the shop. These are the posters that my buddy Ben designed, because he's a super fly awesome intern. And then these were for the Scar Dolls. This was a really cool project too, where I had one giant block that I cut into 4, and then I made it like a, if anybody remembers Mad Magazine, like a fold out. Like if you collect all 4, it makes one mega poster. I thought that was kind of ingenious. Yeah, it's a lot of work. This is my apple series that I'm super proud of. I worked with Peter from Milk and Honey Ciders to produce a series of 6 apples that they use for their all kinds of different cider infusions and cider beers. And that was absolutely magical. That was such a cool partnership, and that's some of my best work too. Super proud of those guys. We have a neat little setup too of just some of the print that I've been in. So this is a catalog. This is my volume 2 of the Bruno Press catalog, which my buddy Nick Campbell, Steve Diamond Elements, does the photography for. Fucking brilliant. But these are what I use to send to my stores to get them to buy my sweet cards. I was in the Ladies of Letterpress book, which you can tell it's mine because it's all janked up. But that was really neat. This book is quite beautiful. I was also in the Van de Kick 100, which is from another sweet gal out in California, Heather Mitchell. So this was my quote: "People have people and I have presses." I mean, that's pretty sweet. Then this is my other buddy, the itinerant printer, Tris Fritton, came, spent some time in Joetown. And actually this little spiel about me is absolutely beautiful. The guy can write. And then here are the End of Times 1, 2, and 3 portfolios, which are some of my most proud accomplishments as well. The most recent one, this packaging was designed and printed at Studio on Fire. My buddy Ben hooked us up with these beauties, and then you open it up to see 42 prints from kick-ass letterpress printers from around the world, which how lucky are we to know all these rock stars. So yeah, man, that's it. That's the show. Okay, so thanks for coming with on this little virtual tour. Glad you could see stuff even though you can't be here. And you know, like, I hope you stay safe, and hopefully I'll be doing more stuff online to get us through. Check you later.